Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. Your boy Holmes here with Gary today, and we have a great baseball episode planned for you today. Me and Gary are going to tackle all of the day's lines for Tuesday, July 2nd. And we're recording this Monday night, July 1st. But we're going to talk about all the lines tomorrow and July 2nd. So when this episode comes out and you watch this on Tuesday, July 2nd, we will be talking about all the games of that night. If you want to follow along, fade us, tail us, listen into any of the insight that we may have on some of these games tomorrow, we'll get it cooking. It's going to be great. But Gare, how are we feeling today on this free agency NBA Monday?
It's crazy, bro. There's a lot of shit going on, a lot of money being given out. I just burnt the shit out of my hand on a pan. So I'm currently dealing with that. But yeah, a lot of shit going on.
Hell yeah, there has been. I know we said we were going to do a baseball episode, and of course we'll get to that. But I just alluded to it. NBA free agency got kicked off today. A ton of great shit has been happening. A bunch of guys going to different teams. I wanted to kind of just list out some of the most notable moves that have gone down so far. Get your take on any that resonated with you, any that you didn't like, really liked, think are going to have a really bad, really good impact going into next year. So let me run through some of these that were going on today. Obviously, one of the biggest ones, Klay Thompson signs with the Mavericks. That was a very, very big deal for him. 3 year, 50 million for him. Got you here. Uh, let's see what else we got here. So Jason Tatum, he had a massive extension signed with the Celtics. He is now, I think, the owner of the largest contract in NBA history, a 5 year, $314 million contract extension. I think a lot of people saw this one coming, so not really too much of a surprise during this free agency period. Um, Derek White resigns to the Celtics. That was a great move for them to make. Tobias Harris, 2 years, 52 million with the Detroit Pistons. That is crazy that that guy is still getting that amount of money. It makes no sense to me. I think he can be a really good veteran player for the Pistons and maybe help some of those young guys develop a little bit, but he's also not like the guy I'd be willing to pay what $26 million a year to. That's a little wild for me. So Isaiah Hartenstein, who was a massive, massive piece of the Knicks playoff run last year, the center goes over to the Oklahoma City Thunder on a 3 year deal, and he's going to make what was it, 87 million. That's going to be really, really big for them. A really talented center that the Thunder get to add to an already young and upcoming roster. And then honestly, one of the biggest ones. Paul George signs with the 76ers. I'm trying to find those contract deals right now or details. 4 year, $212 million. Holy shit. So, Gary, I mean, that's a lot of different moves right there. Any that resonated with you? Any that you think were maybe overpays, underpays, good deals? What do you like out of this free agency period so far today?
Honestly, Chris Paul, I think that's a pretty interesting move for him. Obviously, he's ring chasing, but I don't know necessarily if he's gonna find that with the Spurs. It's an interesting combo though, him and Wemby. Let's see what happens with that. Obviously, Clay. I think Clay is one that really needs to be talked about, not because of how necessarily surprising it is, but the amount of money that he is getting paid makes him the highest paid athlete, like currently. At least in this realm of sport, live golf, obviously those guys are paid, but this is different in the realm of like the four big leagues. He's the highest paid, so that's huge. Paul George, going to the Sixers, obviously is a good addition. I just feel like he's kind of old, so I don't really know how much they're gonna get out of him, but I don't know, some pretty interesting changes so far.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Chris Paul transaction. That completely slipped my mind, him going to the Spurs on a 1 year deal. I actually think like I know he really wants the ring. He hasn't been able to get it. It's been so elusive, but that dude is going to be such a great mind to help Victor Wembanyama. I mean, he is going to learn so much from Chris Paul. And I think that is really, really, really going to benefit his development. So I really do appreciate that move. And it's obviously something that Chris Paul wanted to do. He signed with them. That was something that he felt like he could add something to this young talent, this young team. That's great for him. So that's really awesome. Biggest moves today, man. It's just a lot of crazy stuff. Paul George, like we just talked about, I think that was the biggest, I think, in my mind. I did not see him going over to Philadelphia, a completely different change from what he's been on the LA side of things with the Clippers. Like I don't know how that's going to work, man. I don't really know if they're trying to make this the new big three with Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, but right now in my mind, I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know enough about the cohesiveness of those three players to say anything definitive, but it does seem weird. It does seem like an awkward fit at face value.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Honestly, though, I kind of like it though. I think it makes the NBA more enticing to watch. You see some of these big players that were kind of like the stars of their team, or you feel like they should have been the star of the team they were on. It's cool to see them get kind of a fresh start with somewhere new. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's enough basketball talk for today, Gary. Let's just go through baseball lines the rest of this episode. Let's move through them all. We'll just go through honestly every game that's playing tomorrow. We got a ton of action tomorrow, and we'll start off with the early games. So 6:40 is going to be the earliest start time for any of the games tomorrow. Three games being played at 6:40 and one at 6:45. First one, Red Sox at the Marlins. Carter Crawford is going for the Red Sox, and Valente Belozo is going for the Marlins. This guy, I think, has just gotten called up. He has no record, no ERA, nothing. Carter Crawford, 3-7, not a great record this year, but a 3.59 ERA is actually not too bad for the Red Sox. Red Sox are minus 165 on the road here, over under 8.5. Garrett, do you like anything here? The Red Sox have kind of been on a tear recently, and the Marlins have just been straight up one of the worst teams of baseball this season.
Yeah, I like the Sox for this one. Honestly, it's not really because the Marlins are horrible. It's because, we're looking at, the standings, American League East. You got, I believe the Sox are 2.5 games ahead of the Rays right now. And we're getting close to the time where people need to really start, tightening up and getting ready for postseason ball. So I think Boston kind of has realized that, and so is Tampa Bay. Honestly, we're finally at a 500. I mean, that's huge. So
Mhm.
hopefully we can, enough about Tampa Bay. But what I'm saying is, I think the Sox will take it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Sox here too. They're even money if you want to take them on the run line at minus 1.5. Not a bad deal there for as well as I think they've been hitting. And against a guy that seems like he has no experience so far in the majors, kind of like the Red Sox lineup to be able to take advantage of that. Marlins are just so bad too. So yeah, I'd probably be willing to dabble a little bit with the Red Sox on the run line there. Also, just to preface this, we are doing all of these lines off of ESPN Bet. Just have it pulled up right here. Everything is going to be different than what you are hearing tomorrow. All your odds that you're going to see on Hard Rock, DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever you play on, it's all going to be different by tomorrow morning. So just to preface everything, maybe that can help you a little bit with how the line has moved since we've talked about it today, Monday night. All right. That being said, next game. White Sox at the Guardians. Guardians have been one of the surprisingly best teams in the American League this year, and the White Sox have been by far the worst team in the American League. Absolutely garbage. Chris Flexen is on the mound at 2-7 with a 5.13 ERA. This guy is garbage. Guardians are throwing out Carlos Carrasco, 3-6, 5.27. Not really great himself, but he's been kind of on and off. Has some really good starts, has some really bad starts. Obviously, a little bit more bad than good. But the Guardians lineup has been mashing all season long. Unfortunately, I don't even see the odds on ESPN bet up for this right now. So I'm going to go straight to Hard Rock. The Guardians are currently minus 200 favorites on the money line, over under at 9.5, and Guardians minus 105 on the run line. I'm telling you right now, that's what I'm betting. Guardians at home against the worst team in baseball. I'm taking the run line. Gary, what do you like?
I mean, I feel like this one is kind of a no-brainer. But at the same time, last week, I ended up betting the spread on a game that we thought could have been a blowout and ended up hitting. This is something that me and Holmes talked about with baseball, where we are like, either we're going to be on fire, or we're going to be cold as ice, and we were on fire last week. So I
Yes,
feel
sir.
like potentially with this shitty pitchers duel we're going to see here in the beginning. I think that maybe I like the White Sox to keep it closer here, so I'm gonna take them at whatever the line is. I don't really have a rhyme or reason, but I just have a feeling. Call it a Gary
Hey,
go.
man. There it is. There it is. And on the run line at plus 1.5 or minus 115. So that's actually not bad at all there. Well, I actually do like what you said about the garbage pitching matchup. It makes me kind of lean toward the over in this game too. If you want to take a first 5 innings over, the only one available right now is 5 runs over at -125. Over 9.5 for the game is plus money at plus 105. Like the White Sox bullpen is absolutely garbage. Their bullpen is nowhere near as good as their starters. Their starters are nowhere near as good as their bullpen. They're all bad. They're all so bad. So I mean, I like this game to actually go over here too. But if I'm going to be playing anything, is 100% going to be the Guardians on the run line for me. We will move to the next matchup. Cardinals are at the Pirates. Pirates are short favorites here at -125 on the money line. Mitch Keller is going for the Pirates. Did it 9-4, 3.20 ERA. Kyle Cardinals 5-3, 3.7 ERA. Not too bad on his side as well. Over under is at 8.5 for this. The Pirates are a weird team, man. Like I really, really want to take the money line here at -125. I think that's so nice with Keller on the mound, but Gibson has been decent in his own right for the Cardinals. This might be a stay away game for me. I don't really know if I have anything definitive here. What say you, Gear?
Honestly, like I like the Cardinals in this matchup just because I feel like after watching the Pirates for a little while, it's like you either have Skeens on the mound or nobody's watching and nobody's in the stands. And then Brian Reynolds also is the single leader of basically every hitting stat on that team. So there's
Hmm.
not much diversity in, their lineup when it comes to skill, I guess you could say. It's just going to be one guy trying to run the whole show.
True.
So for that reason, I think I might rock with the Cardinals in a pick 'em kind of
Okay.
situation here.
Bet, yeah. Right now you get plus money on him at 105, so that's really nice. If you I know no player props are out yet for these games, but I like what you said about Brian Reynolds. I mean, he's tearing it up, one of the only ones tearing it up offensively for the Pirates right now. Take his hits, runs, and RBIs. It's likely going to be at 1.5. I think you get really good value on that. See what his hits prop is. That is a good spot, I think, to take advantage of a guy that loves to hit at PNC Park. To the 6:45 game, New York Mets are at the Nationals. There's actually game one of the series that I have on my TV right now, 0-0 top two. So this will be game two of their series. This one is at 6:45. Nationals are at home. DJ Hers on the mound, 1-2, 5.48 ERA, and Sean Manaea goes for the Mets, 5-3, 3.89. Actually, been not too bad for the Mets this year. Mets are favorites at -130 here. I guess this game is going to be hard for me to bet right now, knowing that I'm watching the first game in this series, and I kind of want to see what happens in this first game before I determine what's going to happen here. Because also these lines are going to shift a ton before tomorrow, depending on what happens in this game. I think honestly, if the Nationals win tonight, I love the Mets to bounce back and win tomorrow. They might be a little bit juicy on the money line, so I might consider a run line play there. But if the Mets win today, then I might hold off. I'm not really sure about tomorrow. I do like the Nationals, but with DJ Hers on the mound, a guy that I've never heard of, I don't really know if I have a lot of faith there to put my money on them. So, any thoughts for you here, Gare?
I mean, it's been a party in New York for the Mets recently. I don't know if you've seen the shit on Twitter, but that guy dropped his song and they had a concert in the middle of the field, which
Hmm.
I think is crazy. I mean, looking at the start of the Mets season compared to where they are now, it's a complete 180. So good on them. Um, and Pete Alonso's cranking. Shout out to the Gators. Lindor's cranking. I mean, Nemo's cranking. They're all there. And I kind of like the vibes they're rolling with. So I think I might take New York here.
Interesting, interesting. I also to vibes with the Mets. They have been ever since I think Grimace threw out the first pitch or some shit like that.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
been
yeah.
on fire. I think I saw they're doing a Grimace like Funko Pop giveaway in like a week or something. That's gonna go crazy. But I actually, again, depending on what happens tonight, if the Mets have a poor offensive night, only score like 1 or 2 runs, two at the max, because they're facing Mackenzie Gore right now, who's a very good pitcher for the Nationals. I like their over team total tomorrow. Consider that. There'll probably be a few lines, maybe like 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5. Take a look at those on the over. I think that could be a really good play because if they don't do well tonight, I could see him trying to come out tomorrow against a guy that's not that great for the Nationals and trying to tee off. All right, let's move into the 7 o'clock range. Reds are at the Yankees. Yankees have Luis Gil on the mound. This dude has been astounding so far this year. 9-3 with a 3.15 ERA. In his past few starts, he's gotten a little bit more roughed up, but he's still been very, very good. And for the Reds, Graham Ashcraft is on with a 4-4 record and a 5.45 ERA. Now, the Yankees, they have been so damn good since the beginning of this year, but they have been slipping and sliding really hard within the past couple weeks. This one is a really, really hard one for me to bet too. They don't have this one up on ESPN Bet, so I'm looking at Hard Rock right now. Yankees are favored minus 185 right now, plus 105 if you want to take a minus 1.5 on the run line. I don't really know if I have anything here. Like, Garrett, do you have any thoughts about what you might like in this game?
I mean, I most likely would like the Yankees, honestly. I feel like the Yankees are kind of in a position right now in their season where they can continue to slip and slide and fall out of that first place spot, or they can tighten it up and try to hold it off until the postseason. Um, so honestly, I might take the Yankees here. One thing I do want to say, Ashcraft is a hell of a last name. But if I had to pick one, I would go Yankees probably.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I honestly am now thinking that I would too. I kind of like what you said. I think this is a good like turnaround spot for them. They're at home. The Reds haven't been that great. I think this is a spot where they need to win the series, keep themselves on track, get some momentum back. See, if anything, maybe look at Luis Gil strikeouts tomorrow, see what his prop is on that. I think he could dice up some Reds hitters. Let's move on to the Houston Astros at the Toronto Blue Jays. Houston, small favorite at minus 105 on the money line. Spencer Arrighetti at 4-6, 5.68 is going for the Astros. No idea who that guy is. But Jose Barrios, 7-6, 3.38 ERA at home for the Blue Jays. He hasn't been too bad so far this season. This one is a really hard one for me because that Blue Jays lineup has just been shit this year. I mean, such high expectations. They have dismally underperformed this season. It's been garbage. With the over under at 8.5 here, kind of like an under at sitting at minus 105. I haven't really watched a lot of Astros baseball right now. I'm kind of surprised that they're like 2 games above 500 with as bad as they started out, but kind of a shitter game for me here, Gary. Anything you want to add?
Right now I'm watching Kerry Wood take his first AB and MLB. But
Sir, yes, sir.
um,
Got
but
it up right
Mr.
now.
Spaghetti versus Mr. Barrios, I really don't have too much to say about this game. I'm just happy that the Blue Jays are kind of in the same shithole that the Rays are in right now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't really have too much to say about that one.
Also,
Both.
James Wood.
Oh, James Wood. Sorry, Kerry
James
Wood.
Wood.
I don't know why. That's another player though.
Yeah, I think it is. That's
That's
why
like
I
a
was like,
pitcher
oh yeah,
for
that's right.
Chicago, I think. I don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
yeah. I think you're right though. I think you're right. All right, 7:20. San Francisco Giants are at the Atlanta Braves. Let me get this game up on Hard Rock. Atlanta Braves are minus 185 right now on the money line at home. Over under at 8.5. I don't even know who the hell is pitching for these two teams. Let's find out. Who's this guy? Hayden Birdsong. Oh no, 5.79 for the Giants. Okay, never heard of this guy. But Ronaldo Lopez, we actually talked about him, I think, last week. 6-2, 1.7 ERA, tearing it up for the Braves. I mean, I think now I've got to lean Braves all day, you know? Oh, we got a knock. Let's do it.
Nice.
James Wood, you have heard it here first. Breaking news. First AB in the major leagues. Knock.
Got a single. Nice.
Yeah, you love to see that. Hard hit ball. Awesome, bro. Awesome. Love to see that. That's good shit. All right, back to the lines. Dude, honestly, with that, I'm thinking Braves minus 1.5 or plus 105 right here. I think Reynaldo Lopez could absolutely shut down the Giants. Braves will scratch over enough runs just to get this game. Gary, you got anything here?
Yeah, if I'm playing for the Giants, I'm shitting my pants looking at this pitcher's stats right now. So I like the ATL minus 1.5 for this one.
Cool. I would also consider look at Reynaldo Lopez over under outs tomorrow. If it is anything lower than 18 outs, even 18 and a half, I would take the over on that. I think he can easily go 6 innings. I think he can easily go 6 1/3, pitch into the seventh, but we'll see how that works out. Also, no, not 720. This one is 740. Detroit Tigers at the Minnesota Twins. This one, Minnesota Twins are also a short favorite in this one, -105. Simeon Woods Richardson at 3-1, 3.41 is pitching for the Twins at home. Also, a guy I've never heard of. These guys are just coming out of the woodwork here. But Tariq Skubal, who has actually performed very, very well for the Detroit Tigers, 9-3, 2.32 ERA. And I might kind of lean toward the Tigers in this one. I know the Twins have been pretty good, but something in me says that the Tigers are going to win for Tariq Skubal. Don't know why, but I call it Gary gut feeling. I might ride with the Tigers on this one, and it might be a good idea to wait for this one, see how the line moves tomorrow, because I feel like you could get plus money on the Tigers tomorrow.
Yeah, I use Scuba all the time in MLB, the show. It's pretty
It's
nasty
filthy.
in the video
Mm-hmm.
game. So I'm gonna ride with Mr. Holmes here and take Detroit.
Hell yeah. Also consider Screwball over strikeouts, considering maybe what his number is. Look for a 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, maybe. It depends if you're getting plus money on that, but that's just kind of as far as I would go on that. Let's see. Next matchup, we got 8:05. This one is on TBS. Ooh. Philadelphia Phillies at the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs. God, what a fall from grace that they have had. Not a bad start to the season at all for them, but God, as of lately, they have been trash. As for the Phillies, ooh, they've been hot. Unfortunately, Bryce Harper, though, is on the IL. He has had one hell of a start to the season, an MVP like season, if I do say so myself. But this one is going to be interesting, man. Who we got on the mound for the Phillies? Michael Mercado. He has pitched 1 inning. 1 inning so far this season. Okay, that is interesting. 1 inning this guy has pitched for the Phillies. And then Hayden Wesneski, 2-4 with a 3.6 ERA for the Cubs. This is going to be weird because I don't even know what to make of these two pitchers right now. I'm kind of leaning toward an over in this game at plus 100. It's 9.5, which is a little high, but the Phillies have just been mashing. The Cubs are awful on the mound. Like, this guy seems like he has a decent ERA, but their bullpen is absolutely trash. I know the Phillies could get a ton of runs off of them. And honestly, dude, I'm kind of surprised. I'm now looking at it because the odds are not on ESPN Bet, they're on Hard Rock. Philly is plus 110 right now. I might have to take that out of principle. There is no way the Phillies are a dog against the Cubs. Unless this is trying to trap me. Maybe I'm talking myself into a trap. I don't
I don't know. Sounds like a trap, and sounds like
know.
I'm gonna stay away from it.
This seems like one of those deals. We'll talk about it so much. We talked about it a lot. College football last year. This is just one of those lines you look at. You're like, why are the Cubs favored? This does not make any sense. But if you ride with the line that doesn't make any sense, most of the time you win. Can't explain it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the bookmakers know more than us. But this is interesting. That's an interesting one. All right, we moving on. Let's see what we got. Padres and Rangers also at 8:05. Padres are very short favorite to -105 here with Dylan Cease on the mound, 3.84 ERA, 7-6 so far this season. But Nathan Eovaldi is pitching at home for the Rangers, 4-3 with a 3.45. I think this is going to be a pretty decent pitchers duel we got here, Gare. I would consider an under here, but at under 7.5, it's a little bit low for me. I think honestly, if anything, dude, hop on the Wyatt Langford hits, runs, and RBIs train. The guy is red fucking hot right now. So I think if you're gonna play anything in that game, that's what the play is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Batted for the cycle yesterday, which is a huge deal. Not too many people do that, so that was really impressive for his first year. And I
Mhm.
don't see why not.
Absolutely. Love that play. All right. The 8-10 game, the game we have been waiting for, Gare. These Tampa Bay Rays are at the Kansas City Royals. Zach Littell is on the mound for the Rays. Not a great record, 2-5 and a 4.17 ERA, but not very indicative of how he has pitched. He has actually been really, really efficient. Just unfortunately has gotten very, very little run support when he pitches. Brady Singer on the other side at home for the Royals. He is 4-4 with a 3.12 ERA. He's actually been pretty decent this year, but he will give up a lot of hits. He does give up a decent amount of runs. I think his ERA is a little better than maybe it indicates. I don't even know. I don't know how to like say that without sounding like an idiot. But the Rays plus 105 right here. If you're thinking about dabbling on the money line, Royals are favorites at minus 125. And Rays, though, if you want to take them on the run line, plus 1.5, it's minus 200. So really, really juicy here. Garrett, any thoughts that you got for the Rays in this game?
I might not touch the winner or the loser, but I might touch pause. I might dabble with the Isaac Paredes. You know what I'm saying?
Hits, runs, RBIs. Is that
yeah,
okay?
my brain got a little, frazzled when I realized what I was about to say, but
It's
I
okay.
like it.
It's okay. I think that's a good play. I would also look at the other side, maybe even a Bobby Witt hits, runs, and RBIs. His props may be too high, though. I know he has been on a ridiculous pace all season long, but I would look to maybe do something like that. I would also look at Bobby Witt's stolen base
I was about to say
because
that, yeah.
it does not matter who is behind the plate for us. Alex Jackson, Ben Wartvet, it could be literally fucking anybody. Bobby Witt will steal a base on the Rays, so you should lock that in. Let's keep it pushing here, Gare. Got four more games to go over, so let's hang in there. 840, Brewers at the Rockies. Brewers are only favored at minus 125 here going into Colorado. Uh, I know why, because Dallas Keuchel's on the mound for the Brewers. 11.25 ERA. Absolute garbage. Such a fall from grace this guy has had for years and years. But Ryan Feitner is on the mound for the Rockies. 1-7 with a 5.82. This is a crapshoot game, man. The over wasn't it's so high at 11.5, but it's at even money that I still might take that because holy shit, this is a crapshoot on the mound. I might take the Brewers just because I think the Rockies are literally that bad, and I think they might mash at Coors Field. Gary, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Honestly, for this game, I like taking a run in the first inning, not a nerfy, but a
A
rurfy,
year?
a
Okay,
yearfy.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
I think that could be a possibility for this game.
Great play. Great play. I love that. Let's move into the late games now. 9:40. Los Angeles Angels are at the Oakland Athletics. Jose Soriano on the mound for the Angels, 4-5, 3.48 ERA. Mitch Spence for the Athletics at home. He is 4-4 with a 4.35 ERA. Gary, I'm gonna be real with you, man. This is gonna be such a shit ass game. I don't even watch a highlight from this game. Athletics are somehow the favored team at home at minus 105 here. I'm not betting shit. I don't care. Do you have anything?
Yeah, no. The coolest thing about this game is seeing how empty the A's stadium can be. Um, Not doing anything with this game.
There you go. Perfect. To the Orioles and Mariners, also at 9:40. Grayson Rodriguez on the mound for the Orioles has had a great season so far. 9-3, 3.72 ERA. That Orioles lineup has been red hot. But George Kirby is on the mound for the Mariners. He's actually been very, very good in his own right this season. 7-5, 3.35 ERA. Even with as hot as I said, the Orioles lineup has been. I like the first five innings under in this one. Under is plus 100 for 3.5 runs. With these two guys on the mound, I think they're going to keep it pretty tight for the majority of the game. Kind of think it's going to come down to bullpens at the end. Maybe a 1-0, 2-1 game at the end of it. Seattle is slightly favored at home at minus 105 here. Gary, do you have anything that you like?
Not really. Keep it a buck. I don't know shit about either team, so I'm probably gonna stay away from this one. The only thing that I would maybe take is Gunnar Henderson for a knock. But that's really about all I can think of.
100%. I was going to say Gunnar Henderson, look at his hits prop and look at his hits run RBI prop. He's been tearing it up as well. All right, last game, and we're going to wrap it up, Gary. The Arizona Diamondbacks at the Los Angeles Dodgers. Last game of the night, 10:10 p.m. We have, who do we have here? Ryan Nelson going for the Diamondbacks, 5-6, 5.69 ERA. Not very great so far this season. And then we have Bobby Miller going for the Dodgers. He's 1-1, but he has a 6.75 ERA. Still kind of working his way back from injury a little bit. Has gotten roughed up in a few starts, but the Dodgers, they are favored heavily at home at minus 190. I could consider a run line play here for them at plus 105 for minus 1.5. I think the Dodgers offense is just way too potent. Shohei Ohtani has been absolutely ridiculous. Definitely take a look at that guy's props. Maybe sprinkle a little bit for him to hit a home run because I'm telling you, his pace has been absurd, man. He is looking like he can win the Triple Crown very, very easily this year, being a DH. Gary, do you have any thoughts on this last game?
No, if I had to rock with the team though, definitely the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks have kind of had a fall from grace since last year. Um,
Totally.
Only thing I would really look at is potentially Catel's props. But other than that, I would take Dodgers on the line.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for us, man. We hit every MLB game on Tuesday, July 2nd. So when you watch this episode, hopefully that gives you some good insights on all these games. Garrett, do you have anything before we sign off for today, my brother?
No, just some fun sports going on. Wimbledon's going on right now. And then stay on the lookout for sport meme reviews potentially coming soon. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right, love to see that. Keep on the lookout for that. And of course, the football content that we're going to start putting out really soon, college football and NFL preview. Ton of stuff coming your way. That's going to do it for this episode of Unbettable. If you did like this, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, rate, do whatever you got to do to help us grow this amazing podcast. Care? I lost my train of thought on the outro. Damn.
See you
My
later.
bad, bro.